Bugungi darsimizda Cambridge 8 test 2 passage to analizini ko'rib chiqamiz va birinchi navbatda bizdan nima kutilayotganligini tushunish maqsadida ta'tilni o'rganib chiqamiz. Little Ice Age demak bu qismda bu tarix haqida va geografiyaga bo'yicha ma'lumotlarni o'ziga jalb qilgan bo'lishi mumkin. Bundan tashqari bundan keyin biz savol turlarini ko'rgan holda bizdan qanaqa strategiyalarni qo'llash va bu tekstga, bu passagega qanaqa nisbatan yondashish approach qilishni tushunib olishimiz kerak. O'zingiz ko'rganingizdek bu qismda list of headings, demak matching heading savollari bo'lar ekan. O'zingiz ko'rganingizdek bu qismda paragraph A, paragraph C javoblari berilganligi sababli paragraph A, paragraph C'ni chiqarib olishimiz kerak. Agar paragraph A, paragraph C'ni chiqarmasak, yana bir marta o'qiymiz, bekorga vaqtimizni sarflayveramiz. 8 bilan 5 ni ham ishlatish kerak, shuning uchun 8 5 ni chiqarib tashlaymiz. Xo'p, endi ishni boshlasak bo'ladi. Bundan tashqari boshqa savol turlarini ham ko'rib olishimiz kerak, chunki bu ham muhim. Weather during Little Ice Age demak o'zingiz ko'rganingizdek bu qismda bizda summary completion savollari berilgan ekan. Bunda sizga variantlar berilgan bo'lsa, asosiy qismda variantlar berilgan vaziyatda keywordlar ko'pincha ishlamaydi. Keywordlar orqali javoblarni topish juda ham qiyin bo'lib qoladi. Shuning uchun ham bu qismda agar sizda vaqt bo'lmaydigan bo'lsa, mantiqiy jihatdan topish ehtimoli bor. Mantiqiy jihatdan topa olmaydigan bo'lsangiz, tekstni hamma qismini o'qigan holda hammasini tushunib, keyin javoblarni topish bu maqsadga muvofiqroq bo'ladi. Keling endi bu javoblarni taxminiy jihatdan javoblarni topishga harakat qilamiz. Documentation of past weather conditions is limited. Our main source of knowledge of conditions is this is a past are something and something. We also the climatic shifts, maybe glaciers, maybe no ice cores, interactions, tree rings, other written counts. Documentation is limited. Our main source of knowledge of conditions and distance past are this. Written account bo'lmaydi bu qismda, chunki documentation limited degan. Storm bo'lmaydi, weather observation bo'lmaydi, interaction bo'lmaydi, trading ice core bo'lishi mumkin. Xo'p, menimcha shu mashiga climate shift bo'lmaydi, heat wave bo'lmaydi, chunki bu hozirga bog'liq narsada, glaciers ham hozirga bog'liq narsa. Bu ice coresni trade rings olaman. Menimcha taxminiy javob sifatida o'zimga B, C yozib olaman. Keyin qismga o'tib ketaman keyin. Xo'p, we can deduce that Little Ice Age was a time of nima? Climatic shift, maybe. Chunki o'zgarishlar vaqti bo'lgan bo'lishi mumkin. Heat waves, no. Storms, no. Well, I don't know. Within it, there were some periods of very cold winters, others of something and heavy rain. Demak, qismda nima bo'ladi? Storms and heavy rain bo'ladi. Storm, negative jihatdan storm bo'ladi javob. The others so was no rain at all. Demak, qismda umuman yomg'ir bo'lmagan, heat waves bo'ladi. Katta ehtimollik bilan javob. Shunaqa qilib, masalan, taxminiy jihatdan ham javoblarni topsa bo'ladi. Masalan, bu qismda masalan tekstni o'qiganim yo'q, eslamayman, birinchi marta ko'ryapman. Tekstni ko'rgan bo'lishim mumkin yillar oldin. Mana belgiladim, qo'limdan kelgancha bilmayman. Javoblarni keyin ko'ramiz, to'g'rimi yoki xatomi. Mana bu qismda multiple choice savollar bor ekan, belgilab qo'yishimiz kerak bo'ladi. Xo'p, endi topishga harakat qilamiz bu savollarga javoblarni. Wow. Stop. Yo'q, matching savollar bormi shekilli. Xo'p. Medieval warm period, Little Ice Age, modern warm period. Xo'p. Hamma qismini o'qisak kerak bu qismni javoblarni topish uchun. 26, 18. Boshqa ilojimiz ham yo'q. Xo'p, B'dan boshlaymiz. Little Ice Age lasted roughly until the middle of the 19th century. Only 2 centuries ago, Europe experienced a cycle of bitterly cold winters. Mountain glaciers in the swells up were the lowest in record memory, and pack ice surrounded Iceland for much of the year. Climatic events of the Little Ice Age did more than help shape the modern world. They are the deeply important context for the current and unprecedented global warming. Little Ice Age was far from the defrost, however, rather an irregular seesaw of rapid climatic shifts, lasting more than a quarter century, driven by complex and still little understood interactions between atmosphere and oceans. Seesaw brought cycles of intensely cold winters, easterly winds switched about over years of heavier spring, early summer rains, mid-winters, frequently Atlantic storms, or periods of droughts, slightly northerly winds, summer heat waves, blah blah blah. Javobni ko'rgandek bo'ldim uchun. Mana weather during Little Ice Age xuddi shu javob bo'lish kerak mana shu yerda. Berilgan javoblar bo'lish kerak. Bilmayman. Xo'p, wow, don't do it. Xo'p, endi keling javobni topishga harakat qilamiz. Xo'p, nima bo'ladi bu javob endi? Predicting nope, relevance, nope. How to do this, nope. Human impact, nope. Growing it for, nope. Studying covering 1000 years, nope. Relevance of the little age today. Demek bugungi global change uchun, global warming uchun muhim degan gapni o'qigandek bo'ldim. Mana climate events of the little age did more than help shape the modern world. They are deeply important context for current and present global warming. Shu bilan javobimiz bo'ladi bu B. This book is a narrative history of climate shifts during the past 10 centuries. Bo'ldi, tamom. Study covering 1000 years mana. Past 10 centuries. Oxirgi 1000 yil. Bu D bo'ladi. O'qish ham shart emas ekan. Lekin o'qish kerak. Hozir javobni topaylikchi. It's known that little ice age cooling began in Greenland and Arctic in about this year. Arctic aspects spread southward, northwards to the west were rerouted into the upper Atlantic that ended altogether. Storm lines increased in the North Atlantic. Much wet weather descended on Europe. Thousands perished in a continent-wide famine. Weather had become decidedly more unpredictable, stormier with sudden shifts and lower temperatures culminating in the cold decades of the late 16th century. Fish were a vital commodity for in growing towns and cities, where food supplies were a constant concern. Enough food at last? Yeah. Deer dried cod and herring. Food were already staples of European fish trade, but changed in water temperature forced fishing fleets to work farther offshore. Developed first offshore fishing boats adapted to colder and stormier Atlantic. Gradual agricultural revolution in northern stemmed from concerns over the food supplies at the time of rising population. The revolution involved intensive commercial farming, growing of animal fodder on land not previously used for crops. Increased productivity for farmland made some countries self-sufficient in grain and livestock, offered effective protection against famine. Demoqchimda mana famine ya'ni ocharchilikka qarshi protection qilgan ekan, sufficient grain and livestock bo'lgan ekan, enough food at last. Oxirgi marta o'sha enough food bo'lgan ekan. Demak bu 9 bo'lar ekan. Oxirdan topib oldik javobini. Keyingisiga o'tamiz. Global temperature began to rise. I'm sorry. There was a vast migration from Europe by land-hungry farmers and others, to which famine caused the Irish potato blight contributed. These places, millions of hectares of forest and woodland fell before newcomers' access. As intensive European farming methods expand across the world, unprecedented land clearance released vast quantities of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, triggering for the first time human caused global warming. Human impact on the climate bo'larkan bo'lsin. Odamlar tomonidan kaos qilingan global warming bo'ldi degani sababli o'sha human impact bo'ladi. Shu bilan bu qismni tugatamiz, nihoyasiga yetkazamiz, chunki bu qismda ma'lumotlarni ko'rsatdim sizlarga. Hayotdan oldim javoblarimni. Shu bilan bu qism tugadi. Men boshqa qismga o'taman. Kerakli menga uchun kerakli qismga o'taman. Bu qismlarni topib sizlarga tushuntirib beraman hozir. Distant past. Reconstructing of the past is extremely difficult because systematic weather observation began only 5 centuries ago. Records from India and blah blah blah. From time record begins, we have only proxy records reconstructing largely from tree rings and ice cores. Demoqchimda tree rings, to'g'ri? Ice cores, to'g'ri. Was time of what? Throughout the northern hemisphere, many of them to amplify with the growing body temperature data from ice cores throughout. We're close to knowledge of annual summer weather variations, much of the northern hemisphere. Hope demak ikkita javob tomon olingan. We can deduce. Bu qismda javob bor menimcha. Bu javobda bu qismda javoblar bor. How we can deduce mana as was for little ice age was far from deep freeze, however rather irregular seesaw of rapid climatic shifts. Yosunda mana time of climatic shifts. Demak javoblar tartibda kelmadi bu qismda o'zlariz ko'rgandek. Tartibda umuman kelmadi. Ikkita paragrafdan bir-biriga qarama-qarshi bo'lgan ikkita paragrafdan o'tirmiz. Javoblar within it there were some periods of cold winters, others demak cold winter kerak and others demak of 2 years of heavy spring and early summer rains. Demak bu qismda H olganman, storms. Mana springs, easterly winds, storm bo'ladi bu. Boshqalar to'g'ri kelmaydi. Logistik to'g'ri kelmaydi. Qisqasi shu javob, o'sha qismda javoblarni topishingiz mumkin. Bu qism uchun many Europeans started farming abroad bo'lsa, mana bu manba qismida bo'ladi. Modern warm period bo'ladi. Chunki chetga borib farming qilishni boshlagan, chunki o'zida land hungry bo'lgan, yer bo'lmagan. Cutting down trees began to affect the climate. Demak, cutting down trees mana bu qismda carbon dioxide atmosphere release vast quantities of persistent land clearance. Demak, yer tozalanishi degani o'sha cutting down trees bo'ladi. O'sha qismda shu uchun sin olamiz. Europeans discard other lands. Europeans discard other lands. Hop, topaylik Europeans discard other lands. Change took place in fishing patterns. Fishing patterns mana bitta o'zgartirish bo'lgan. Adapted to cold southern Atlantic. Demak, qismda fishing pattern the little bu qachon bo'lgan? What is this? Little ice age bo'lgan bo'lsa, bu B bo'ladi. Hop, Europeans discovered other lands. Medieval warm period. Where is medieval warm period? Mana yerda voyagers explored northern seas, settled Greenland, visited North America. Mana other lands. Shu bilan other lands bu bo'lar ekan. Shu bilan bugungi qism o'z nihoyasiga yetsa kerak. Hamma savollarga javob topdim. 12 minut 13 minut bo'libdi. Shu bilan bugungi videomiz o'z nihoyasiga yetadi. Sizlarga foydali kontent bo'lgan umiddamiz. Agar muammolar bo'lgan bo'lsa, kommentlarda qoldirishinglar mumkin. Sizlar bilan ko'rishguncha xayr everyone, bye.